I'm Anne Ahola Ward.
And welcome to Computer AF number 12. We are an interview podcast type show put on by Grit Daily, and we love to talk about what's going on in the world. And welcome. Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I wrote a thing. I had a thing. I
I
just
know, I
wanted
love it. So profesh.
to... You're so supportive. You're always so supportive. I think
Get out. Ah!
well, which is great because I often don't think that I'm doing that great. And you're like, no, I love this. This is great. So I appreciate it quite a lot.
Aw, thanks. I know that when our fans do eventually write back in, which they will, they would say the same.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, that's that's my little intro. But yeah, I mean, how's everything going? I know you had a crazy busy day today, and now we are.
Yeah, everything's fine. We're just moving along. Like sometimes summer is dead. Like last summer was like no business. This summer we have some new projects we're excited to be working on, and they started kind of around the same time, so that's been fun. So, but I'm always going to be happy being busy.
Yeah,
And it's just sort of it's nice to be wanted.
it is. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. I mean, for me, I have a similar problem going on. I have one client who gave me 3 stories to complete by the end of the month, and I'm just seeing that combined with everything else, that workflow is just too tight for me. So I wrote her a very nice letter, and I'm hoping that she'll be okay with it bleeding into next month, as opposed to kind of only giving me like 3 days to complete writing assignments. It's just not like physically possible, especially with the different jobs I'm doing and everything. And again, the it's a good problem to have, right? There's like a lot of
It really is. It really is. I think I was too busy to go to the Augmented World Expo this week, which is happening in Long Beach, and it's a lot of great people. I love the people in the industry. AR, VR, XR. Like I love all the cool kids that hang out in that industry, especially the ladies that I know and love. It's like family to me. I did have a project in the space this year for the first time in a really long time that actually launched with the Apple Vision Pro. Um, and so it was kind of interesting timing of like the biggest industry conference happening that Apple sort of let it slip that
yeah.
they're not going to be doing another Vision Pro. They're going to be doing a more affordable version, which I feel like with all their money, resources, and intelligence, like maybe they would have read the room on that maybe people didn't want to spend that much. But I feel like it was a project that probably started when the economic clouds were not gloomy as they have been, and it was in production for like a long time, but like I feel like they didn't do their market research there or something. Somebody, they very rarely miss the mark, but when they do, everybody talks about it.
I mean, it's sort of like I was thinking about it because we were talking about it earlier. Like it's sort of like reminds me of what Tesla did. What they started off with that Roadster. So they started off like it was like 90,000 or whatever that was. Do you remember? It was like some big crazy. It was like their prestige product that they started out with, and then they were able to go to the more affordable price. Or at least on a spectrum, they are more affordable than the Roadster, but they're still like 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, thousand, or 80 or whatever it is. So maybe they're doing something like that, or yeah, there is, or not. Maybe this is just like slapdash throwing it together at the last minute. We don't know what we're doing type of
Right.
thing.
Like I feel like they would have probably looked at the fact that like Oculus had gone for like a lighter version and with the Go, and that people wanted a lighter, more, sort of easy to travel with experience. Um, you know, I would say that the people that love the Cybertruck are the same people that love the Vision Pro. It's like the Cybertruck for your face at this point. Like you you wear it out in public, people are probably you're gonna get razzed.
I'm thinking of like a Halloween mask of the truck. It's like, and there's like
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't work
Yeah.
well. There's like one broken part hanging off.
I saw a post the other day that was like basically like a really aerodynamic trash can, and it was just like Vision, So I hate to see the Vision Pro go that way. It's a cool idea. I just personally I felt like they didn't read the room on the cost because we're all worried about money these days, right?
Yeah. It's their loss leader, right? I mean, they're making so much money off the phone and the app store, mainly the app store, I guess. In the hundreds of zillions of dollars or whatever it is every second, even though it's not more than Nvidia is making. Um, you're giving me that look like I don't know about the math there. Anyway, but yeah, no, yeah.
I sort of feel it out with that stuff. I'm like,
Well,
no.
it's their loss leader. It's like something over the next several years that may pick up and become a bigger thing. They're establishing their own app store for that and all the rest of it. So,
Well, and they really kind of just this last week came out with their like, hey, we do AI too.
yes.
Hey, we're doing the AI.
Yeah, we're leapfrogging on top, or what are they piggybacking on? Is it OpenAI that they're utilizing
Yeah.
to? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I did read some article somewhere saying that that will actually sort of open up AI to tens of millions of more people that wouldn't get a chance to use it ever, potentially. So
If it
maybe,
rolls
maybe
out just to the people with the iPhone, that's obviously going to have an impact, and so that one little thing becomes a huge thing, right? So I think if anybody's going to make, I think Apple making VR cool for consumers in a mass scale was maybe too steep of a mountain to climb. But I
yeah,
think Apple making AI cool for the masses is not. Like their soft approach to everything, I think is for consumers is going to be more palatable. It's going to tie into voice assistants. People are going to see it as a feature functionality of their phones. I mean, those components have been in use for a long time through
yeah,
apps and other features, but now we're like saying it, right? It's like knowing something is there and then calling out that it's there.
yeah, yeah.
And they did that. They finally did that. And I think a lot of people were ready for it. I was happy to see it. But then there was like a follow up article I thought was hilarious. It basically, like, they too are struggling with what the icon should be for AI. It's like,
Mm,
I had to share that with my clients this week. Like, look, you know how the iconography and the artwork for this is kind of difficult?
yeah,
Guess who else is struggling? Like, I thought it was like, oh, they're like us. They're people too.
yeah, yeah. They're confused and not sure exactly what it should look like.
It's weird. Yeah, it's like weird for all of us, right? It's like a weird thing. It's like I'm positive about AI. I have been this whole time,
mm,
but it's also just sort of like a weird thing from the going to the, knowing it's there to like being beaten over the head with it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all know the history of different companies and the rollouts of different technologies. Take a look at Facebook and what Facebook became, and the effect that the effect that well, that sort of leads me into talking about money dysmorphia and the effect of like scrolling on your. We don't have to necessarily dive into that just yet, but we could if you want.
I
Um,
mean, you drop the bomb on that, so I say you go for it.
Money dysmorphia. Yeah, basically the idea is that we're surfing so much on Instagram and we're looking at so many people with their apparent lack of money problems that there is a feeling out there that we're sort of always behind. And even if our finances are stable, which is I know not everybody, but even if our finances feel stable, even people with houses and cars still don't feel like they have enough, still at the end of the month feel like they're falling behind. That's sort of a what's being called money dysmorphia. And I guess supposedly what you're supposed to do to try to combat that and to get a better sort of head on your shoulders about that is talk to a financial advisor and set a monthly budget and not go online, not again these unwanted effects from spending too much time on social media scrolling, and the effects that they have long term and all that we never knew when we first started getting involved in appreciating social media too much maybe. But yeah, anyway.
Maybe I think I appreciate you sharing that because I think a lot of us have felt that money dysmorphia and just
Me
didn't
too,
have
I
a
know I
name for it. And I
have.
almost wish that social networks would do what they or New York, the state of New York is trying to do for teens on social media and like limiting notifications after dark. And there's some legislation New York has put on the table to try and limit what social media is doing to teenagers. I kind of would like it if I could opt in and my social networks, like, no, like, faux wealthy debaggers, check. No Cybertrucks, check. No, like, people bragging about being on other people's yachts that they've clearly rented, check. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I would pay for that. I'd pay an extra $5 a month to have a, like, a no. Could I just say I have this bunny
Bag.
dysmorphia disorder, and you just, can we, are we not at that level now where we can just say I don't want to see that? Because that'd solve that problem right there.
I'm sure they have the technology to make it happen. I mean, if they have the technology, if Google Photos has the technology to show me memories of only desert pictures, which they showed today, my memories were all from like Burning Man, trip to Grand Canyon, and hike outside of Vegas photos. You know, it's like, and it was like, these are all the desert, and it had like some pithy phrase there talking about being in the desert. And so, and it just had them all grouped together. If they can do that, then they should be able to identify yacht douchebags.
Well, I
We,
mean, there are cool people on yachts. There are people on yachts that are great people, but
yeah,
there are maybe a higher percentage of people that are not cool because they have to show you they're on a yacht, right? Maybe
yeah.
it would be like the anti-showboater feature. Like, I would pay for that. I
There's
would
got
pay
to
for
be a
that.
way. There's got to be a way that the algorithm can determine to what extent they might be a yacht douchebag by looking at the percentage of photos that emanate from yacht. Uh,
You can limit by keyword. So, like, if you can only do it by keyword. So you could literally say, don't suggest things in my feed that include yacht. You know, you could do that. You could do that on Instagram. You can do it on Twitter.
you know, you could make the recommendation that you only show me photos that include lamp.
Yeah, exactly. Only show me lamp, cat, dog, horse. You know,
I didn't
you
know you liked
know.
horses. That's cool.
Oh, I love horses. Yeah, horses. You know,
Lamp.
sloths are very cute. I had a really, like, a 2 month phase with capybaras. To
Oh.
the point I had some people say, like, maybe don't send any more of those. Okay, got it. And they're the largest rodent, but they're so cute when they take those baths with the fruit, and they're so relaxed. I feel relaxed. But,
All you
like,
need is a lamp. And then
exactly, give me some lamps. Give me some lamps. And so you can curate your feeds to a certain point if you really want to, right? Like,
do you have a dedicated lamp store in Austin? I'm sure you do, but is there like do they have a Lamps Plus in Austin?
no, because I'm not allowed. Somebody has a problem. I just have to go with the common folk and go to Home Goods. I go where the commoners go, the normal real people, and buy my lamps there because I'm not allowed to go to lamp stores unless it's like a special event.
Oh, so
Um,
they do exist in Austin, but
oh yeah. Oh
you've been
yeah,
cut
we've
off.
got specialty. We've got wacky lamps. We've got all of that. You know,
You
junk
love lamp.
shops with, like, funky old yes, of course. We have all that. But I'm
Uh,
I'm forbidden.
we just allowed the bric-a-brac segment to like just invade whatever.
Yeah,
It's
no. I
I
mean, we
just
could talk social media for hours. We're social media people.
yes, we are. Yes, we are. But okay, so speaking of social media and all the various like new versions of it that show up, you ran into one called butterfly.ai. Was it tell us more about that? Was it any good?
So I know what you're gonna say if I ask you that question. Butterfly AI is a new, basically, I think signals a sea change of AIs coming for us on social media. I mean, we're already seeing the posts on LinkedIn and, other places where you can kind of tell someone that's human didn't write it.
Yeah.
But the Butterfly app, essentially, as far as I can tell, is a swing and a miss at using AI to create these different profiles for you, personas on this app.
Persona non
So,
grata. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly. Persona nada. Yeah. So, like, I created a profile, and based on, like, no information that I had given it, it made me like a bookish, short, like very short haired with glasses brunette. Like I hadn't uploaded a photo. It just, I guess, based on my name, had
So the
decided I
idea,
was like a short haired mousy Anne. And I
so
was,
basically you give it info and it comes up with a,
yeah. And then
and
it's like default picture for me was not very good. And then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go in and try and whatever. And then you make more
they made you
butterflies.
Daphne. They made you Daphne from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we won't go into that on.
Not your favorite.
But then, yeah, but then you create these like butterflies. And so I have one for dogs and one for cats. The only picture I like of this, and then you look at it and it looks like it's created a whole new world for you. So there's a version of me with
Oh.
a cat.
So these are AI created pictures that it's periodically updating based on
Yes,
your likes
it's
and dislikes.
making it's making these photos for me. So on one hand, I'm like, ah, you're creating content. So I did one that was a multi-poo and it's creating weird AI
Oh.
versions of just random multi-poos, but I'm not doing anything to this. And so my profile is really just these butterflies, which are just things you create that become their own things. And like my cat lady one is my favorite, honestly, because it's just like a bunch of pictures of me, weird AI pictures of AI me with like different animals.
Well, you look like
So
a nice person there with your animals and your computers.
yeah, I'm fine with it. And then this is just like a weird AI fail of
It's
like, I
not
don't know.
enthusiastic. Whoa. Okay. Okay. That's a little too much.
So
That's
it's like a little creepy, but not in a like a, oh, it's got my information way, and more of just like a, oh yeah, you're not there yet kind of way. Like,
well, I think what I'll do is I'll try it out again because what happened originally was yesterday when you first like said butterfly AI, check it out. I started to check it out, and then as happens so often during the course of my day, somebody went boop, and then this thing came on, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to check on that, and then I just like so I think I try. Oh, what happened was I tried to get on it, and then it needed to me to prove who I was, and that required me to go to my email and then do so, and then I got lost along that way. I got hijacked by something else along that way, so it never really grabbed me. And actually, what you just showed is interesting. So I think I'll try again to get connected into it
well, I
again.
hadn't looked at it, and then there's these other new weird pictures. So I'm like, okay, if it's AI generating its own, if these butterflies are personas that I've created that are just different alternate universe me's,
My
okay.
my question is with it. Can you guide it to do different than it's doing? Do you get more input, or does it like no, you're
You
cut
can go
off?
back if visuals it gives you are kind of like then you can go back and you'll see how it the text that it used, and you can alter the text and then try it again and look at the new version, which is what I did
Oh,
when it gave me mousy library vibes. And
yeah.
I love a good mousy librarian. I just am not one. I
She actually seemed like a semi sexy librarian. Actually,
Yeah,
not.
well, so that's after I went back and edited like, no, I have long hair.
Oh, got it.
And
Got it. Okay.
yeah, but like
Okay.
what it came up for me out of the gate, I don't know where it pulled that information because all it really had was my name. And
Yeah.
like I said, analytics, I think, was my like one liner. Like I do
And
analytics and
analytics.
SEO. And so it turned that into like short haired brunette with mousy glasses and face.
Mm,
But,
yeah.
I think it's like a first sort of like we've seen AI features from Snapchat and other services, but this is the first like hat in the ring AI wise for like a full on, this is all AI. Like I've had to create no content for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So am I shaping content being created? That's kind of nice. Like I don't mind that.
Hmm.
I don't really know that I'm doing it right. I don't know that anyone else is going to use it other than you and I like in my
You
friend
never
group.
know,
But
dude. You never like a year from now, it could be like the latest trend. Like, go online, create your own little social media thing, and it just does it for you. And then da da da. And who knows how much it'll improve? Maybe Generation Alpha, who are coming up now. Maybe by the time they get along, they'll be all. ooh, this is exciting. I love this. I don't have to do any work, and it creates kooky things. Maybe, who knows? Or
I
maybe
don't
not.
know, but I mean, isn't the whole point of this to like connect with other people
Oh, yeah.
or, social networks? But I mean, it's also entertainment, right? So this is
I
maybe I'd fall under entertainment rather than social interaction.
I mean, I kind of thought that the point of this was to make yourself look really good and make everyone jealous, and then also feel jealous about everyone else, and then feel sad.
That's the other point of social media. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
that, or at least that's what ended up happening.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong in
I'll
that
take
that
it.
that also that also happens. Yes, and I think we've all tried to like get competitive with it, and like I
Sure.
try to do an Insta story every day, and that's like, you're out and you see something and you're like, "Oh, content."
I have
And
one
it's like,
friend. I have one friend on Snapchat. He's like a Snapchat sort. He's an influencer. I don't know him that well. He's a good-looking gay guy with no shirt on, basically, and just
"Oh,
like
that kind of friend."
yes, that kind of Fred. I mean, I've talked to him like twice, so he's my friend. And no, but I mean, like he'll do like 30 photos at least every day, and like many of them are videos that if you watch them all, it'll go minutes, so that you're many minutes that you're watching this thing. So they're doing it every day, and they don't take many days off. And I feel like that's it is a full time job, to do that and to do that well. And if you are somehow monetizing that, well, then good on you. But they're really doing a lot of stuff, some of these people.
Right. Yeah, and it's exhausting mentally and physically to be a content creator, and you're probably not paying your bills with it unless you're in the top 5%. I read a
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal article about that actually this week that was saying that vast majority of influencers are barely getting by. They're not like in,
Yeah.
they're essentially just like it's bonus income, it's not primary income. We're
Yeah.
not really, there's all kinds of programs to pay content creators, but we're really not valuing that in these services. Like there are programs from TikTok, Snapchat, they all have content creator programs, incentives. YouTube has a program. Doesn't really net you much.
Yeah, I remember. I think I saw the same article, and I forget what the statistics were, but it's like something like you said, like 1 to 5% actually make enough where you're starting to like, where it's almost like normal money, like.
Well,
But
or they're successful somewhere else, and that's like a side hustle, right? Like I have a friend who is a TV broadcaster. And so the influencer thing is a side hustle, and she can promote things and products and try them out, and brands send her free stuff, and like
yeah,
so it's like bonus income, free trips, free whatever, and kind of rolls it into it. But that, making that Instagram post in and of itself, unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you're not making millions on it. So it doesn't mean it's not possible. Anything's possible, but it's just not necessarily the land of milk and honey, you
that we
know,
think that
that
the impression is that it might be.
right, because it's how that sucks you in. You're like,
Totally.
ooh, I'll
It's a
be
hard
famous.
working thing. Like I have one friend who does a video like every week or once or twice a week, and he gets like 1,000 people to watch, and he's making like $60 off of it or whatever it is. And it's not. He still has to do Whole Foods part time.
Well,
So
you can do subscriptions, right? You can get paid from subscriptions. You can ask for gifts. There are monetization options in social networking tools, but I don't really know that that's successful for a lot of people. I don't know anyone that's like paying their rent out of it. I will say I have a friend that's had a really like crazy life experience and built up a huge following, like over a
mm,
million on TikTok, and is now
wow,
parlayed that into a book deal.
that's great.
So again, you're taking success one place and then monetizing it somewhere else, because having a million TikTok followers, while very cool, unless you can like go through an affiliate network and sell products and get kickbacks, or unless there's some other sort of like
There is. There's not these are ones that I don't personally know, but I definitely have seen it with a couple of the gay guys who are pretty good looking and they get, tens of thousands of followers, whatever it is. And then they have their live streams, and during the live streams they say they give the link for their OnlyFans and the two or three other OnlyFans-esque type services, and or just their what's it called? I forget what it's called. It's there's a couple of different things that you can do there and send people over there, and then people will sign up for your thing for. Oh, George Santos. I just saw this. He has an OnlyFans for $28 a month. I just saw this. Like
What?
2 3 hours ago. I just saw this. Yeah, he's doing it. Although it could be a Justin Timberlake type thing. Take it with a grain of salt. Where like one of the first things was this fake social media report that he had poppers and Truvada, and so all the gay guys are
Certain
like, "Oh,
people maybe
he's
took
doing
that and
all of
ran
that."
with it.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, yes, finally, my dream when I was 20 is now true.
We always knew you were ours, Justin.
We had to settle for Lance Bass, and instead, anyway, no, but I think it is true. I don't know where I saw it, so just double check.
I mean, to me, then at that point, it's like, isn't that just like it's just like Cameo?
Right. He did do Cameo as well. Or were you the one who told me
Well,
he was doing Cameo? I think maybe you were the one who told me he
I
did
don't feel
Cameo.
like I'm dialed into his world enough to know that, but I do. I've used Cameo for fun and amusement and gifts for people I don't know what to get them. I had a friend that was obsessed with one of the like Real Housewives,
Oh, wow.
and it was like a subset show, not like the main ones of like some niche category of like doctors' wives who have bad knees, or like the like
Chattanooga.
yeah, doctors' wives, or like yeah, like there was such a subset one. She had like so I got her the one like talking to her, and she just like loved it because she'd never heard a Cameo. And then there was a comedian, I forget his name. He was in Grandma's Boy. His name is not the movie. He's not coming to me name wise right now. But my brother and I did competitive cameos and like fought through him for a minute.
You can tell both of us have had like long, busy days because at this point now we're doing the show and we're like, I can't remember the name. Patreon. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, Patreon. Yeah, that went out with without a that
Some
was like
people
a
still
fizzle
use it.
up.
There are people that use it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a way to try and conglomerate the money into a focal point so that you can receive, So, and that's what the gay guys do on the TikToks. They get it. Boom, go to my OnlyFans. Next thing you know, they're making 8,000 a month or whatever. Some of them who are really worth that.
They've
There's a
got to
lot.
be jacked. They've got to have really good apps for that.
They got the guns, they got the abs. It's yeah, all that impossible stuff. I remember they'll talk about how they don't even drink water because drinking water will make you look fat or will not make you look as
That
cut.
seems really, really dumb.
It seems unhealthy. It
I'm
seems
just
scary.
gonna drink some water because I don't care.
Mm.
Watch me hydrate with careless abandon.
I think that's the point. Is like hydration is key to health, and like they will. And I know Wolverine, the actor who did Wolverine,
Hugh Jackman.
huge jacked man. Yes, he. Yeah, he was talking about how he had to not drink water for some set period of time in order to look that ripped, which I imagine is unhealthy.
I feel like every doctor that's not watching this everywhere is going to be like, no.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I caught a stomach flu last year, and I was told like not drinking water. Don't just stop eating for a day or two because you'll probably recover better if you just stay hydrated and focus on that one thing, because not eating for a day or two will not send you to the hospital, whereas not drinking for a day or two absolutely will send you to the hospital. And I was like, oh, well
Drink.
intended point. So I just like one day all I had was like applesauce and toast, and I got better
Yeah, because he stayed hydrated the whole
because I
time.
stayed hydrated.
Yeah. No, and I've noticed that my migraine symptoms will subside if I get pretty hydrated and stay hydrated.
I'm
So,
a shameless proponent of hydration.
yeah. Well, okay, so we all that's left on our list for the serious news stories. I feel like we got to like get
I'm
the
glad we're
serious.
being really serious today. I'm
Well, we
glad
have
that that's happening.
Nvidia, we have Middleton, which is not exactly like, well, it's serious,
That's hard
but
hitting, yeah.
it's hard hitting. I mean, for those of us who care, and then which is us too, which is all that matters. And then McDonald's doing a $5 meal. So, which one do you want to start with?
I mean, I'm not loving it. I mean, I think that a lot of people have noticed that fast food is no longer the most affordable food, right? Like the dollar items maybe are not as filling, and I think it's harder for people to justify the expense of the hot salty fast food options for a family if it's going to be $30 for a couple Happy Meals or whatever it is. So
Totally.
I think McDonald's was smart to respond to the market and say, okay, we are doing the $5 meal, because that is a game changer for people who maybe would see it as a splurge, right?
It would be different if the prices just didn't get hiked so much in the last several years here, where now all of a sudden a Big Mac is $9 or whatever, or the Big Mac meal is like $9 or whatever it is, and the Big Mac isn't any bigger than it was, and it's still kind of floppy and small like it's always
That's what
been.
she said. But it's the
No.
but is the $5 meal gonna be like a weird little tiny? Is it like the baby bird? Like how many
Yeah.
fries do you get with that? Like, so that's the question: is that enough to fill a grown person's stomach for a meal?
It better be, yeah. I mean, if it's just like a Happy Meal with a hamburger, small fry, and a small drink, then I don't know. But the article that I read didn't have any details on what exactly the meal looked like. Just that there would be a $5 meal that McDonald's was putting out there in response to a similar one that Wendy's is now doing, and that Burger King says it will do very soon as well. Oh, and then also Starbucks has a $6, you get a coffee and a breakfast sandwich deal, which I think is something that some people will like. They're just trying to get all the people who sort of
Yeah, they're not
fled,
cheap.
you know?
Yeah, Starbucks has never been the most affordable option. You go there because it's strong.
Yeah,
Their coffee's the strongest. It's going to always be the uniform quality no matter where you go.
yeah.
I don't tend to eat their food items very often because I find them just super salty.
Mm.
Um, Although I had a phase this last year with their oatmeal. I really like the way they do their
Ooh, I do
oatmeal.
like their oatmeal. Yeah, they have
I
good
like
oatmeal.
oatmeal, but I don't like making it.
Yeah, it's a yep.
I
Because
always overshoot it or undershoot it on the water, so it's like gloppy or it's soupy, and I just have not. I refuse to measure.
gloppy.
So
That almost ranks up there with flimflammery for me. I love that. That's great. Gloppy.
you know what I'm talking about. If you're an oatmeal
Oh yeah.
person, you know what I mean by gloppy, and you're just
I,
like, oh, but they do it and it's perfect every
yeah.
time. It's perfect,
They've
and they
got their
give
measure.
you the little raisins and the little berries, and it's just so
Put
it's
'em
like a treat.
Yeah, it is a treat. You didn't have to do any of the work. When you have to do it at home, there's work and you don't get it right, and so the risk reward is not really there for the oatmeal done at home. But
Exactly. But it's also just kind of a ridiculous thing to do on a daily basis because you have these things at your house. It's just like it's
yes,
like I generally go when I think the dogs need a pick me up because
yeah,
they get the pup cup and they're like
they just love being included and involved and get food.
which
Really, that's all.
they really are in my everyday life to a certain
Yeah,
extent. And they're like fishing, they're like milling around my feet right now actually.
of
But
course,
yeah.
mommy. What are you doing? We need to be involved too.
Well, yeah, they're like angling for their night walk. They've already had their day walk. They want their night walk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess it
But
is like 7 p.m. where you're at. Yeah. Okay, so that's
it's
the fast food now trying to deal with the fact that prices have gone higher and get people to actually come back because they left because they were mad at them because yeah. And Kate Middleton. So what's the latest on her? I forgot.
She has made her first public appearance since her announcement of her diagnosis, which I hope thoroughly shamed all the press that said the things they said about her,
Mm,
before we knew about her diagnosis. I think, obviously it's a sensitive topic because it's just I'm a royal watcher, I'll admit it.
mhm.
Being
They're our
Canadian.
royal family too, in a way.
Well, yeah, being Canadian, right? Like it's a thing, and so and my family is interested in it, so I follow it, and I love Kate Middleton. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's like picture perfect royal. She plays piano. She's talented. She's always dressed so smart, and I love her like little throwbacks to Diana, like
I well,
coming out in the.
I have a bric-a-brac item. It's Game of Thrones related.
Ooh.
It's House of the Dragon related. The woman who how do I even say? She had an argument with oh god, I don't have the names. She's older. She's the queen that should have been but wasn't, because she was the daughter of the old king. but they didn't end up giving it to her because they were never going to let a woman be queen, because you know how they are in Westeros. She's one of the dragons. She has her own dragon, and Homeboy tried to get her to go with him to fight at King's Landing this past week. Didn't work, and she said, "I ain't going to do it. You ain't the king." She played the mom of Kate Middleton in the Netflix series. I'm bringing it back around. What's it called? The Crown. She played Kate Middleton's mom in that series. Anyway, sorry.
Wow. That was a very specific throwback to House of Dragons, which clearly we're going to talk about, obviously.
I've forgotten her name. I've forgotten the character's name. I forgot. It's
Look, if you really want to know, watchers, look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Google.
Okay, well, John's going to do the work for you.
The queen who wasn't.
But a lot of people were very excited because
Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was.
Yeah, and she's pretty OG. I like her vibe. She's like, no, the dragon needs to gorge and sleep, and so do I. And it's like, yes. I feel that way a lot. I need to gorge too, and then take a nap. Like, I like that was cool back then. You just said it.
Yeah,
we need to get back to that.
Who's gonna disagree with her? Except for Homeboy, who is he's actually my favorite character. He's got a lot of personality. He's not a good guy. I mean, none of them are good people necessarily. It's not. There's a spectrum.
Well, he did commission a baby death.
Yes. Yeah, I don't
think he was actually meaning to do that. And by the way, if you haven't seen House of Dragons, just know I think we should put a spoiler alert in the thing, because that's just
spoiler alert.
Honestly, if you're not up with the show, if you're one of those people that's waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for.
If you don't want to know about how he commissioned the death of a baby, and then that was on the television.
Accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. I mean, he was intending for it to be the older one that only has one eye. I forgot his name.
The one that started all the drama, honestly.
God, he's such a problem, that guy.
Real toot on him. Real toot.
God, still bitter? I mean, come on, you got the biggest dragon, you bum. Anyway,
and you're not even that inbred compared to your cousins.
Right, yeah.
Whose parents are niece and uncle. So, like, you should be better at stuff.
Yes, in general. Should be better at stuff. That's...
Like, they went out to the Hightower bloodline. Like, there's some fresh blood in there.
Yep, some non-brother married sister a whole bunch of times.
As evidenced by the not crazy blonde, platinum blonde hair. I just want to say, I think that whoever makes platinum wigs in that region of the world is just probably rolling in it, because they're just, it's like so obvious. Targaryen.
Well, here's the thing about the Targaryens. Here's the thing about all of the dragon folk from Valyria is that they had purple eyes. And that's in this show, they never bothered to give them purple eyes, which always kind of stuck in my craw. There's always sort of like...
Do you have a bee in your bonnet?
Around that, yeah. Because with the platinum blonde and the purple eyes, it always like...
It would have been easy.
Yeah. Oh, it's not hard. Yeah, I don't know.
You could do that with contacts.
Yeah. Or special effects or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's opportunity missed, House of Dragons.
Yeah, they always deserve to be just that sort of, because they always felt like they were sort of a breed apart and better than everyone else, and that was sort of a way that it showed. But they did not have it. I
don't even think they all have the same eye color. I think they all have like their own eye colors. I don't think that they've actually opportunity missed for your brand, Targaryens.
Exactly. Well, okay, so we've got. Do we want to just mention NVIDIA? Should we just go into the bric-a-brac?
I think we're very firmly into the bric-a-brac, and I think you're in denial of it. But I think that the
like, no,
7 minutes on the House of Dragons, I think that you've taken us there, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I mean, NVIDIA, by the way, NVIDIA's richer. There, we did it.
NVIDIA, biggest,
big, bigger than last time.
All right, back to the bric-a-brac.
Yes.
What are you watching besides?
House of Dragon?
What did you think of that? Of the latest of the season premiere of the House of Dragon? Anything we didn't say besides the baby death commissioning?
I'm not. That part was hard for me to watch for some reason. I was like, oh, like, because like I knew
Yeah.
when they were like having him go into the little meeting, like I was like, there's no like accidents in these shows. Like you're like,
Yes.
okay, well, what's happening to him now? This
Yeah.
like child in the background that's all of a sudden a feature.
He's
But
dead in the hour.
it was just like your sort of classic season opener where there's a lot of setting up of things. You know, they're kind of letting you know, yeah, this is going to be a war. It's going to be a thing. Everybody's, the two women that are kind of in the middle of it, obviously there was a love there and they
Yeah.
both are kind of mixed about it. And there's a lot of pain, but I thought it was, well, obviously beautiful effects, like beautifully done. I obviously wanted like 3 episodes, because it was like, okay, now the good stuff, and then it was over. I was like,
Yep. Yeah. It was sort of
what did you
the
think?
cliffhanger. It was good. I thought the writing was very good. I have a problem with the fact that the vast majority of the characters are completely unlikable. Oh, what I really did enjoy though was that the first 5-10 minutes were done in the North with
Oh yeah, Starks.
it was
Yes,
like because going into the show, I was saying to myself, "Oh no, not these characters again," because they're all difficult, right? They're like I said,
I
if
have a
they're
stinky face, and I'm
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I get it. It was kind of like all like
Yeah, it's difficult. There's very few that are likable in the show. It's actually a problem for the show, in my opinion, that makes it that makes it not as good as it could be. Having said that, they started off with the antidote to that, which is the Starks, which are just like these stoic but sort of almost happy in their stoicism kind of guys, much more pure, not political, not like I shall order the death of the child kind of people. And
like
so this
duty and honor and loyalty and like the virtues that made us all fall in
yes.
love with the series, right? I think you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. I was actually kind of like,
Yes,
Starks.
it was a
Okay.
palate cleanser. It was a palate cleanser.
It really
I was,
was.
I was able to get a Stark Zen in the beginning there.
Yeah, and then it got me really thinking about which house each animal in my house would declare to. And obviously, Lachlan, my Siberian tabby, who's very majestic and, very,
Stoic,
yeah,
yeah,
he's obviously a Stark.
yeah,
Our Persian, who is very fancy and obviously like the queen of the house, is clearly a Lannister.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because she
yeah.
just sort of assumes like Cersei just sort
Yes,
of looked at things and just like
Mhm.
and it just happened. And so
Owner of
that's
all she
Millie.
sees.
Yeah, that's Millie. We were told this last week. I was worried something was wrong with Millie. We took her to the vet because I'm a helicopter cat mom. And the vet told us she's actually fine. She just seems a little dehydrated because maybe she doesn't like her water. And so it then
Yes, that's right. A
there
cat.
was
She doesn't like water.
she just apparently isn't drinking enough water, and could we encourage her to drink more water? So she now has a third fountain that is in a high up place dogs cannot reach, that she likes to hang out with and sing to.
Sing to.
She sings to her water, which is beautiful. It's like it's like my work here is done.
Oh, you have got to send me a video of that at some
Yes.
point.
Oh, I will the next time it
I've got to
happens, which will be
use
tonight.
I know that if I ever do come to visit, that cat will show me a glance of her and then disappear, and I won't really get much of it because she's like Betty Davis. She's not to be interacted with.
Uh-uh.
She's to be known about and be on the silver screen.
Talked
And
about,
yeah, that's it.
worship. Yeah, no, I'll give you the good the $12 treats, the
Yes,
fish, the dehydrated fish. She will get excited for those. So the arrangements can be made for special artisanal nips.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I go to the special cat store and get it like the catnip on the bud, like the actual like
Mm,
fresh stuff. There's ways around it. You just have to pay.
yes.
That's
Money is the key
because
to
she's a
everything.
Lannister. But in terms of non House of Dragons, because that was only 1 hour, which I'm gonna definitely rewatch before the next one, just so I feel fresh on it.
Hmm.
I found myself in recent history left out of multiple female conversations because I have never seen an episode, or recently had basically kind of had this feeling over the years, but not really caring. I've never seen the Gilmore Girls. And
Oh,
so I like, there were multiple conversations in recent history because I guess it was just put back on Netflix. So
ah,
a lot of friends were rewatching it. Some of my younger friends were watching it, and one of them had had a loss. She'd been laid off from her job, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get in bed and watch Gilmore Girls." And I'm like,
I got to check this out
"What
too.
is this comfort of which you speak? This Gilmore
Yeah.
Girls?"
Did it provide
Uh,
you comfort?
um, in that if I want my husband to leave the room,
Yeah.
I put that on, and it's just like a. I mean, I don't. I
Goodbye.
honestly would hang out with him every second of every day if he let me, but no, 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 no. It seems to not really be good for him. But like when he was on a recent business trip, I was like, oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
nice.
kind of annoying, but it's endearing.
Hmm.
It is soothing. It's weirdly soothing.
Okay, but just not for Val or probably other men
Not
in
for
general.
like your traditional straight dude, no.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
there's
No.
good dialogue. There's characters you can kind of warm up to. It's a small fictional town, Stars Hollow, where
Yeah.
everybody knows each other, and there's one coffee shop, and there's gossip, and it's sort of
Mhm.
like a sweet innocent show that I was like working when it came out, and we didn't have streaming
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then. So like you either sat home and you watched it or you didn't watch it, right? It was one of those. So it kind of missed me time wise,
Hmm.
but it's
Me
it's like
too.
it's a little bit it's okay.
I feel like I caught Dawson's Creek in full Dawson's Creek splendor back in the day, and so all these shows that are not, I don't want to say pale imitations of, but sort of loosely
That
in
kind of started the category, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like I hit that one, and like the rest of them, even if they're good, if I don't catch it, I'm not going to feel too bad. Although maybe I could check them out in the future. I'm not opposed to that idea. It's
No,
probably on.
I think I'd give that a rewatch. I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you on that. So what have you been watching other than obviously House of Dragons?
Well, one thing that I think could work for Val and keep him in the room, or maybe it won't. I don't know, but is The Boys on Amazon? Um, it's basically a dystopian version of our time, but that superheroes are sort of like the focal point of society, and the vast majority of them are all really like egotistical or mean or awful. And there's sort of an Superman who's like the most powerful one, and he's just a psychopath, and etc. It's all leading up to them all fighting each other, and there being this giant war, basically, that was in the comics. It's based on a comic book, and but Amazon is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on it. They just went into their fourth season. They've had an offshoot show, but there's Billy Joel music, which might be enticing to you. There's the main character who is working with the good guy end of the superheroes, and he's a big Billy Joel fan. And so, anyway, there's a lot of blood and guts and gore, so that may not be your favorite thing, but Val may be okay with it. So,
All right. Well, we'll give it a try. We're always, content curious.
it's yeah, it's big budget. It's big budget. Jeff Bezos is spending the money on that, and meanwhile, only paying the Whole Foods people $20 an hour, which is, I mean,
He needs
whatever.
money for those weird big suits.
Yes, and the rockets to go to the moon, and that's fine.
And
The
mega
Blue
yachts.
Origin.
Well,
Yeah.
he made the money. He got us hooked on his Amazon. I can buy any weird little trinket for $10 and have it today. He cornered the market on that. Good for him.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
I
No, I
find
mean,
him the least annoying of the billionaires, honestly.
true, true. Yeah, definitely. If there is a spectrum, he is closer to the not that annoying end of the spectrum, as opposed to the oh my god, you're awful end of the spectrum that Elon sits over near, and a few others.
Yeah,
Sorry, but yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Uh wow,
What else?
this time just flew by.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't feel like I have any other shows I can publicly admit that I've watched. Gilmore Girls was a big step for me.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is the Star Wars show continues to, then I'll be done. The Star Wars show continues to be mid, although the most recent episode, the fourth one out of eight, was not as bad as the last one. It still wasn't that great, although it had some really cool things in it. Overall, the Star Wars fandom is completely in an uproar right now. There's the vast majority of everyone's not that big of a fan of the show, although the critics like it, and it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like an 85 from the critics, and it has like a 15 for the fans. So it's rough. Star Wars needs to just be a periodic thing. I think at this point they're pumping out too much content with it, and they've got to be careful they don't come out with garbage. And that's pretty much it with that.
Yeah, remember what made you good and try to stay true to that to some degree.
Indeed, which is what we try to live with here in our lives here on Computer AF number
Oof.
12.
Yes,
Don't come out with garbage.
we have a strict quality control process of I don't want to talk about that. No,
TechCrunch
boring.
doesn't have anything good on it today.
Look,
What's going on? No tech news.
We do upwards of 20 to 30 minutes of research combined per episode, so you're welcome.
Upwards. Hey, look, just by living our lives, we're doing research for whatever this is. So, hey.
We're feeding you what you want, internet content.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on CAF. I'm John Boyden, with the lovely, beautiful, and talented Anna Hola Ward. And have a wonderful last 10 days of Pride Month.